Have you ever told yourself, this is the last time, only to repeat the same mistake the very next day? You promise you'll wake up early. You promise you'll study harder. You promise you'll stop wasting time. But somehow, comfort wins. You scroll a little longer. You sleep a little more. You delay just one more time. And your dreams remain exactly where they were yesterday. This is the story of a young builder who struggled with the same problem, until one unexpected lesson changed everything. Once upon a time, in a growing town surrounded by tall oak trees and winding dirt roads, there lived a young builder named Caleb. Caleb was known for his incredible designs. He could look at an empty field and imagine a beautiful house standing tall against the sky. He had ideas no one else had. Creative, smart, talented, but there was one problem. Caleb never finished what he started. His workshop was filled with half-built tables, unfinished chairs, and blueprints covered in dust. Every project began with excitement and energy. But when the work became difficult, when the wood felt heavy and the sun grew hot, Caleb would step back and say, "I'll finish it tomorrow." Tomorrow became next week. Next week became next month. And slowly, people stopped asking him to build for them. Each morning, Caleb would wake up with big dreams. He would stretch, walk outside, and imagine the future. He pictured himself as the most respected builder in town. He imagined people praising his work, thanking him for beautiful homes and strong furniture. But instead of picking up his tools, he would sit under a tree and plan. He loved planning. Planning felt productive. It felt safe. It didn't require sweat or struggle. "I just need the perfect moment," he would tell himself. "When I feel fully ready, I'll begin." But that perfect moment never came. One afternoon, Caleb's younger sister, Miriam, walked into his workshop. She looked around at the unfinished projects and frowned. "Why don't you finish these?" she asked gently. "I will," Caleb replied. "I just need more inspiration." Miriam picked up a dusty hammer and placed it in his hand. "Inspiration doesn't build houses," she said softly. "Hands do." Her words stayed with him, but not long enough to change him. Weeks passed, and the town began to grow. A new family moved in and needed a house built quickly. They chose another builder, an older man named Thomas. Thomas wasn't as creative as Caleb. His designs were simple, but he worked every single day, rain or shine. Caleb watched from a distance as Thomas showed up each morning before sunrise. He watched as the walls slowly rose from the ground. He watched as neighbors stopped to admire the progress. Day by day, Thomas built what Caleb had only imagined. For the first time, Caleb felt something unfamiliar: regret. That evening, as the sun dipped below the hills, Caleb walked past the nearly finished house. He ran his fingers along the smooth wooden walls and whispered, "That could have been mine." Behind him, a voice responded, "It still can be." Caleb turned to see Thomas standing there, wiping dust from his hands. "You have talent," Thomas continued. "I've seen your sketches. They're brilliant. But talent without discipline is like wood left in the rain. It rots." Caleb lowered his eyes. "I don't know why I can't stay consistent," he admitted. "I start strong, but I lose energy," Thomas smiled. "Energy is unreliable. Commitment is not." He sat on a nearby log and motioned for Caleb to join him. "Let me tell you something," Thomas said. "I don't wake up every morning feeling motivated. Some days I'm tired. Some days I don't feel like lifting a single tool. But I made a rule for myself years ago." "What rule?" Caleb asked. "No matter how I feel, I work for at least 1 hour." "Just 1 hour?" Caleb questioned. "Just 1 hour?" Thomas nodded. "Some days that hour turns into 5. Other days it stays 1. But I never break the rule. Discipline is not about doing everything. It's about doing something, consistently." That night, Caleb couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the rule. 1 hour. It sounded small. Almost too small. But maybe that was the point. The next morning, before his mind could make excuses, Caleb walked into his workshop. The air smelled of dust and unused wood. His eyes landed on an unfinished chair in the corner. 1 hour, he whispered to himself. He picked up his tools. The first 15 minutes were uncomfortable. His hands felt stiff. His thoughts tried to distract him. "You can stop," a voice inside said. "This isn't urgent." But Caleb remembered the rule. 1 hour. When the hour ended, the chair wasn't complete, but it looked better than it had in months. For the first time in a long while, Caleb felt proud. The next day he returned. 1 hour. Then again the next day. 1 hour. Some days were harder than others. Some mornings he almost stayed in bed. But he forced himself to show up, even if he worked slowly. Days turned into weeks. The unfinished projects began disappearing. The dusty blueprints came to life. A table was delivered. A chair was sold. A small fence was completed. The town began to notice. "Caleb is working again," people whispered. But something more important changed. Caleb began to trust himself. Before, his promises meant nothing. He would say, "tomorrow," and tomorrow would betray him. Now, when he told himself, 1 hour, he did it. That small daily victory built something stronger than furniture. It built confidence. Months later, Caleb stood outside a beautiful home, his most ambitious project yet. The design was bold and creative. Windows curved elegantly along the front. The wooden beams were carved with detail no one had seen before. As the family stepped inside their new house, they turned to Caleb with gratitude in their eyes. "This is more than we imagined," they said. Caleb smiled, not because of the praise, but because he knew the truth. This house wasn't built in one day of motivation. It was built in hundreds of small, disciplined hours. Later that evening, Thomas approached him once more. "You see the difference?" Thomas asked. Caleb nodded. "I was waiting to feel ready," Caleb said. "But readiness comes after action, not before," Thomas smiled. "Exactly. You don't become disciplined by thinking about it. You become disciplined by practicing it." From that day forward, Caleb never chased motivation again. He chased consistency. He understood something powerful. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. You don't need to feel inspired every morning. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need one small promise and the courage to keep it. 1 hour, 1 page. 1 workout, 1 step. That is how momentum begins. And momentum, once built, can carry you further than talent ever could. So if you see yourself in Caleb, if your dreams are big but your actions are small, remember this: greatness is not built by bursts of excitement. It is built by quiet, repeated effort. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. And the best part, you can start today, right now, with just one small step. If this story inspired you and reminded you of the power of consistency, make sure to subscribe for more stories that challenge your mindset, strengthen your discipline, and push you closer to the life you deserve. Because your future is not built by what you plan. It's built by what you do.